Hey everyone, Levi here with Hammer Fab. Today we're going to show you how to install our tailgate flippers, otherwise known as tailgate stops for 55 to 66 GM Fleetside trucks. What the tailgate stops will allow you to do is eliminate your chains, cables, and scissor holds and replace them with our flippers that will allow you to maintain a 90-degree angle when your tailgate is in the open position. Now they do require a little bit of application and fabrication to get them installed. Follow a few simple steps and we'll guide you through how to install them. First thing you're going to want to do is remove the tailgate from your truck. Now you do that by removing the two bolts on the bedside, and then this will come off of the tailgate like this, and then you just take this out of there. We're going to need access behind that bushing. Some of the tools you're going to need are an air hacksaw, an air cutoff wheel, an air die grinder, a cordless drill with an 1/8 inch pilot drill bit, a step bit, a countersink bit, a 3/8 ratchet with a 7/32 Allen wrench, and a scale ruler. Okay, so one of the first things we gotta determine is where to make the hole in the bottom of the tailgate. So we're just gonna give you a snapshot of what the end goal is. This is a flipper that I've already installed on a Juxta, our 66 GMC. This was the prototype truck that we did this on. So basically this rail here is like a C-channel that goes all the way inside the tailgate. And what we want to do is cut a rectangular slotted hole on the inside of that rail. Now that rail is about 3/4 of an inch thick, and so you want to measure over about 3/4 of an inch from the edge and make a mark vertical on the tailgate with a marker. And then from that mark, you measure over another 3/4 of an inch and make another mark that's parallel with the first mark. Then the top and the bottom cut, you only want to cut enough, especially on the outside. You don't want to cut around here too far. You don't want to cut too much because you'll see that from the outside. So, but if you can keep your cut to a minimum, you can reduce the visibility of this product from the outside. You know, the idea here is to keep it stealth and clean and everything. So basically it's going to slip in there like that. We're going to put 1 bolt, 2 bolts in it and tighten it up, and that's it. So we'll show you how to do that. And then what you're going to want to do is drill a couple of pilot holes there. What I would recommend is doing is drill a couple of holes in there. You know, I've already got it cut out, so I'm not going to cut it out again. I don't have another one right now to practice on, but basically you're going to want to drill a couple of holes and then get your air hacksaw and cut those vertical lines like this, and then cut the horizontal lines like that, and then take your air die grinder and round out the corners real gently, smooth up any burrs you need to in there, and that'll take care of the slotted hole. Now you need to do that on both sides, and then once you get to that point, now we can come over here and drill the holes in the side. Okay, so I've already got the holes drilled and they're already countersunk on this tailgate, but basically I can still walk you through the steps that need to be done. So on your tailgate, there won't be a hole in either one of these spots, and so what you're going to need to do is find the center of this pivot point hole and drill an 1/8 inch pilot hole right in the center. Then you're going to swap it out for a step bit like this. Drill it out to 3/8. Then you're going to swap this out for a countersink similar to this one. This is a 6 flute countersink, made for steel, not wood. And then you're going to countersink that hole and test fit the supplied fasteners until they sit flush inside that hole with the surrounding metal. You don't want them sticking out too far because your hinges won't fit anymore. So you got to make sure that they're flush with the surrounding metal. Same thing with this one. So then once you get that one established, then you take a measurement using a ruler or dial calipers And from the center of this hole to the center of that hole is 1 3/8 or 1.375. You make a mark this way at 1.375, and then in the center of this rail, drill your second hole and use the same steps that you did on the first one. You drill a pilot hole, step it up to 3/8, and then use the countersink to countersink both layers of metal this time, because there's an additional brace here. So you countersink both of them until that fastener is flush. After you get your holes drilled, you're going to take a file and remove the burrs from the back side of the hole. Repeat these steps to both sides, and then you'll be ready to install the tailgate stops. All right, now you're ready to install the stops. So you want to install this with the countersunk side of the thick metal facing out. Okay, then we'll slide that in there, and then using your supplied stainless fasteners, get one started. Get the second one started. And then use your Allen wrench to snug them up. And we recommend using some red Loctite on final assembly. And you want these guys really tight, because they will be under a lot of stress, a lot of leverage. Just be careful not to strip out the Allen head. And there you have it. One installed tailgate stop. Then once both tailgate stops are installed, you reinsert your tailgate hinge and prepare to reinstall the tailgate on the truck. Now you are going to have to create some kind of a slot right here on your truck so that that flipper can pass through, because otherwise it'll hit this. So like on Juxta, our GMC, we notched this bumper. We had to make a little notch in the bottom of this stake pocket, and we had to notch our new rear bed rail piece that we made. And it's up to you to figure out what kind of stop you want to put here for the tailgate to hit, because everybody's bed floor is different. Some people have a raised bed floor, some people don't have a bed floor. You know, we just don't know if you're having a wood floor or metal floor or what you've got going on. So basically you're going to have to create a landing spot for that flipper to contact. Now it's time to reinstall your tailgate. We recommend getting some help with this because the tailgate is pretty heavy, but we're going to do it by ourselves. All right, we got the tailgate reinstalled. Definitely recommend getting some help putting this on, especially if you've got a nice painted vehicle. You could very easily scratch your tailgate or your bed sides putting the tailgate on with the flippers installed. It can be done. You're just going to need some help and probably some towels or something to pad everything as it's going together. Once it goes together, it works perfect.